Psychology says one of the most painful human experiences isn't rejection. It's being accepted. But only after someone else was chosen first. When you were never the favorite. Never the first call. Never someone's first priority. That doesn't just affect your heart. It quietly rewires your mind. This video explains how experiences like that don't shape your personality. They shape your psychological survival system, one hyper-awareness of social signals. Psychology has a term called rejection sensitivity. The tendency to quickly detect signs of exclusion or disconnection. People who are rarely the first choice become extremely skilled at reading subtle changes. A slight shift in tone. A longer pause in a reply. A different kind of silence. They don't need to be told something is wrong. They feel it. Not because they're insecure, but because their brain learned early on that being replaced doesn't come with an announcement. Distance arrives quietly. Words come later. So they sense emotional changes long before others admit them. Too strong independence develops. Developmental psychology shows that when emotional support is inconsistent, the brain adapts by building self-reliance. These people don't hate support. They just don't expect it to last. So they learn to carry things alone. They handle pain privately. They solve problems quietly. They celebrate their wins without needing applause. Their independence isn't ego. It's adaptation. They became strong not because life was easy, but because they learned early that rescue isn't guaranteed. 3. Overgiving in relationships. Attachment psychology explains this clearly. When someone grows up feeling replaceable, they often try to become irreplaceable later in life. They give more time, more understanding, more patience, more emotional labor, often more than they receive. Not because they're weak, not because they lack self-worth, but because somewhere deep inside, love feels conditional. Like something that has to be earned, maintained, and constantly proven. So they overgive, hoping effort will create permanence. For a deep fear of being temporary. Repeated emotional neglect can plant a quiet belief. I can be replaced at any time. It's not always loud. Sometimes it shows up subtly. They downplay their needs. Avoid conflict. Accept less than they deserve. Not because they don't feel deeply, but because losing connection feels more dangerous than losing themselves. They don't fear being alone. They fear being quietly swapped out. Like they were never truly secure to begin with. 5. Silent emotional strength. Research on resilience shows that people who experience chronic social exclusion often develop high emotional endurance. They can handle disappointment without falling apart. They stay calm when plans collapse. They don't panic when people walk away. Because they've survived that feeling before. Their strength isn't loud. It doesn't demand attention. It's quiet. Steady. Deep. They bend without breaking. 6. They value loyalty more than intensity. When affection feels unstable, the brain begins to prioritize consistency over excitement. These people don't chase dramatic love. They don't need grand gestures. They look for effort, honesty, stability. Someone who chooses them again and again. To them, being chosen once means very little. Being chosen every day means everything. If this felt uncomfortably accurate, you're not alone. And you're not imagining it. Your mind simply adapted in the best way it could. To experiences that taught you connection wasn't always safe. And that doesn't make you broken. It makes you aware, resilient, and deeply capable of real, lasting connection. This channel explores human behavior the way psychology actually understands it, not the way social media romanticizes it. So if you want to understand yourself on a deeper level, subscribe. Because once you see the pattern, you stop blaming yourself for surviving it.